Hey guys, it's Verena here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. I am very excited about today's video because I am starting a new series of different spooky romances that I'm going to be reading this year, and I am so excited. Before I do that, let me quickly apologize if my voice sounds very strange. I am currently battling my allergies. If you watched my previous video, I'm filming on the same day, so I may or may not have a sinus infection or the start of one. I don't know. I'm battling my allergies, and so it's affecting all of my entire face. But we're just gonna roll with it. I am very excited about this because about a month ago, if not a little bit longer ago, I asked for recommendations on Facebook, on Book Talk, on Instagram, asking for recommendations for Halloween specifically, and I took all those recommendations, wrote them down on little page flags, and put them in this little cup. It's actually a cup with it that used to have a straw, but I was like, this is actually perfect. And I've obviously already taken some out. I don't know if you, oh no, you can't see them, but anyway, they're kind of just chilling in here. I've already taken out my first batch of books. I've already read all three, and that's what I'm going to be talking about today. And then I will quickly mention the three that I'm going to read next, and I can do a reading vlog if that's something you want to see. I intended on doing that with the first three, but then I just didn't do it. Ooh, what's new? So let's go ahead and talk about the three that I have already read. Okay, so the first one that I read for my three picks, I guess you would say, is going to be The Game by LP Lovell and Stevie Cole. These are two authors that I have heard of. I've just never read from previously. So basically, this one is a dark romance and it's a menage. So please know that going in. There are definitely content warnings for this one. So if you have any, definitely go check them out. I went into this basically blind. I really didn't know anything about it, but basically it is legit a game. And something, I don't even remember because this is how quickly I forget details, but her and her boyfriend, something happens and she finds these two men, which I'm now blanking on their names because, again, I forget those little kind of details. So I'll try and pull it up on Goodreads as I kind of talk about it. But basically, we have these two men that are like, well, you know, we will give you this in exchange for you doing these sexual acts, and if you don't do them, then somebody dies. So they're very brutal, needless to say. And it is very interesting. I wasn't like completely sold on this book. It definitely kept me reading, obviously. It just wasn't like, oh my gosh, this is like an absolute amazing book. It just was, it was a good read. I gave it 3 stars. It wasn't like anything to write home for me. So let me find the characters' names. We have Tobias. I never know how to say that name, but I think it's Tobias, and Preston. So basically, not only that is they want to do these sexual acts, but they actually want her to submit, like dom sub kind of situation. And she basically has to give up her entire body. Like, you cannot have a say in what's allowed to happen, that kind of stuff. Things get very dangerous very quickly, and she kind of realizes that as she's literally stuck. Like, they say you have to play the game for, I think it was 72 hours or something like that. It was an extended period of time, and it was just extremely fascinating, I guess. Would I recommend this book? Yeah, I mean, I would. What is it my favorite of the 3 I just read? No. It was actually my least favorite. But overall, it was still enjoyable. If that sounds like a book you'd be interested in, definitely go check it out because it's still a good book. For a 3-star for me, that just means I enjoyed it. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever. The second book that I decided to read was Lovely Bad Things by Trisha Wolfe. And I'll show you like the little thing that I wrote on. So again, I went into this one pretty much completely blind as well. I have just been completely enamored by this book ever since it released because I have been absolutely obsessed with the cover. I don't know what it is about this cover, but it's absolutely stunning. But I didn't really know anything about this book, and I'm still kind of like So what happened? I don't even know how to like properly explain this book. It's like it's a very interesting book. So we have Halen, and she is a crime scene like profiler. So she goes through these crime scenes and kind of like says, okay, so this happened, you know, whatever. I'm explaining a job that y'all probably know what it means. Anyway, so she's sent to, I think it's Hollows Row. So it's kind of like Salem. And she has to figure out what has happened to all of these bodies that are just keep appearing. But she actually has to like interview the killer, and he happens to be a serial killer. So it has a very interesting dynamic. And his name, and I'm so bad with names. His name is Callum. Callum, however you say it. I don't know. Anyway, so she's interviewing, talking to him, but he has a very interesting way of talking because he thinks everything very deeply, and everything is very like philosophical, just very like what? Well, this one, I guess you can classify it as also a romantic thriller. I definitely feel like it falls more into the thriller category. Dark romance, I would definitely place it more so in the thriller genre, but still with that romance aspect to it. Overall, I gave this one a 4-star. Again, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, this is the best book ever. I really didn't know what I was getting myself into. I legit knew nothing about this book at all. I just knew it was a dark romance and that everybody kept raving about it. I was like, you know what, let's do it, because it just sounds, just from everybody raving about it, let's do it. Overall, I enjoyed it. Again, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, this is absolutely amazing. So there's that. And then my third and last book I'm going to talk about in this video is going to be Wicked Little Sins by A.R. Breck. Now this one, I finished it this morning, which you're seeing this a week later. I'm still trying to process this book. This book is extremely dark. If you have seen Stranger Things, specifically season 4, here you go. Just with like the, what do you call it, exorcism type stuff. I legit, as soon as like that part happened, I was like, Stranger Things season 4 right there. Like, but it's not like where we have like Vecna and the Demogorgons. No, we're actually set in Castle Point, duh. So this girl and her mom moved to Castle Point because her mom is getting remarried, and we have a dad and his son Malik. Well, Malik and our heroine, which again I legit cannot remember names, Vera and Malik are absolute enemies, more so on Malik's end because he is extremely attracted to her and he doesn't want to be. He absolutely despises her and wants to make her life as horrible as possible. And in this town, it is notorious for very like supernatural, paranormal events happening, and that is what it is well known for. Like they basically say once you get to Castle Point, you are never leaving, because if you try to leave, you're dead. So this has a lot of supernatural elements, lots of possession. It's very interesting. Not only that, this obviously is a dark romance, but this is also taboo because their parents get married. So now there's the step sibling aspect, which is another reason why they fight those feelings for so long, is because they are now step siblings. I am a reader. I don't care about that aspect. It's until they become blood related, then I don't care for them. This book is very long in my opinion. It took me a long time to get through it, but it is one of those that keeps you thinking the entire time. Like, I could not put this book down. I could not stop reading. And you do get a happily ever after. It feels like one of those that's like very rushed in my opinion. Now, my rating of this book, I would still give it a 6 stars, because honestly, as I was reading it, I was like, you know what, this is probably gonna be like a 4-star book, maybe a 4.5. And then it quickly became a favorite, because as I kept reading, it just kept me more and more invested in the story. And then by then I was like completely obsessed with the book. Once I got to the halfway point, I was all in. I could not put the book down, and it is absolutely amazing. Like, I definitely, out of those, I recommend this one. Do I recommend it for everybody? Absolutely not. This is definitely the perfect book for Halloween because it has all of those spooky vibes that you would want in a Halloween book. Again, I don't recommend it for everybody because this is very dark. Definitely check out the triggers for this book as well as the other 2 books I mentioned, but this one definitely. It is not going to be a book for everybody, so please know that. Pretty much any book I recommend, especially in the dark romance world, please go check out the triggers because I'm a reader. I don't have any really that I know of, so I can pretty much read anything. So please do your research if you do have any triggers. Now, I've already chose the 3 that I'm going to read next. I have like a TikTok and everything ready to go for it, but one of the first books is one of the books that my best friend Monica has been pushing me to read for I don't even know how long, but it is Unhinged by Onley James. I'm sure many of you have heard of this series. It is a dark romance, and it basically, from my understanding, follows a lot of like serial killers, psychopaths. Like each character, from my understanding, it's almost like a orphanage type thing where this one person takes in all these like really broken characters and just kind of helps them cope with everything that's kind of happened to them. That's just kind of what I've gotten from the series, and I have been dying to read this book. I just have not picked it up, and now I have the perfect reason to pick it up now. So I'm very excited. That is going to be one of the 3 that I'm going to be reading next because it has been on my TBR ever since I've seen it float around Bookstagram, TikTok, all of that. The next book is going to be The Wrong Heart by Jennifer Hartman, and everybody knows this author at this point. She wrote Still Beating, which is one of the books that I read earlier this year and probably one of my favorite books of all time. Everybody raves about that book. That's probably her most well-known book. I don't really know anything about The Wrong Heart. I just know it's a dark romance, so I can't really give any information because truthfully, I'm a reader. If you don't know this about me, sorry, I keep fidgeting because the carpet's not that comfortable. Anyway, sorry. I'm a reader. I like to go into books basically blind. I might know like tropes, a very vague description of the books. That's just kind of the reader I am. So when I give synopsis of books, it's usually because it's a book I've read. If I'm talking about a book I've never read, chances are I really don't know what the book is about. I know like the overall tropes, the genre, maybe little details like Unhinged was, but this one I don't know anything about it. But it's Jennifer Hartman. She's an author I've read before, so I already know I'm going to love it because of her writing style. It's just like chef's kiss. You could not ask for a better author, in my opinion. Now, the last book that I chose out of my jar is legit probably the perfect definition of a Halloween book. So I am very excited that I get to read it now before Halloween, and it is going to be Scream for Us by Molly Doyle. This is a novella that went pretty much viral in the, well, I say viral, but viral in the book talk world. So not viral, but you know. Anyway, so this is a Halloween novella, and from my understanding, it is a reverse harem. I'm trying to correct how I say the term now because there is a bigger push to use why choose instead. So anytime I say reverse harem, please know I'm talking about why choose. I'm trying to change the phrasing of it because I've done my research and learned why we shouldn't be using that term. So if you don't know why we should be using why choose instead, please go look at TikTok because there is a creator, I believe her name is Ashley. She talks about why the reverse harem term is so degrading to particular groups of people. So please do your research and find out and start using why choose. So this one is a why choose book. I believe it involves masks. So I'm very intrigued because the videos that I kept seeing last year were, you know, the typical Halloween horror movies like Scream, Michael Myers, Jason. They were all wearing those masks. So I don't know if they do these like things to her. I just know there's multiple men involved, and I'm extremely curious. I think I'm going to do the audiobook for this one just because everybody raves about the audiobook specifically. I'm very excited about these three. So if you guys want me to do a reading vlog and I talk about as I read these books, definitely let me know down in the comments. I think I'm going to do one either way because I'm very excited about these three books. I still have a good, I don't know, 10, maybe a couple more in this jar. There are definitely more books that are not in this jar that I would like to get to. I always set myself up with these insane, impossible TBRs because there are so many books out there that I truly and dearly want to read. So I'm very excited. If you guys have any dark romance recommendations, always leave them down below because I am always looking for dark romance recommendations. But if you guys enjoyed this video, please let me know. If you are going to be doing some kind of spooky TBR, if you have books in mind that you want to read, definitely let me know, and maybe I could tell you if I like them or not. But yeah, until I see you guys in my next video, bye guys.